So my name's Dillon Muhlenkamp. I'm currently majoring in agricultural education, and I am a freshman this semester or this year.
Were you able to interact with faculty online? How was it different, either better or worse, than a traditional classroom setting?
With in-person classes like a chemistry lecture, there's 200 kids in a lecture at a time, so it can be hard to kind of go down front, ask a question, or go to your professor's like office and ask real questions. So this past semester, I had an online course, and the professor had online office hours, and I went every week, and he would help walk me through the assignments if I didn't understand it. And I think that's the really important thing, being professors being more accessible to their students now to help them succeed and flourish. But I will say, I think there's a definite difference between asynchronous and synchronous classes. Right now, I'm currently in an asynchronous class. I don't really feel like I have a connection with the professor. It's hard to meet with him and everything, compared to those synchronous classes where, most of the time I do have my camera and my mic off, but I'm still there and I can engage in the chat box. I can engage with the professor if needed. So I think it's, with those scenarios, thinking about how do we engage with these students.
Dr. Widmar has talked about how the shift to online learning caused her to record her lectures and allow students unlimited access to them. Have you found this helpful? If so, in what ways?
This is definitely super helpful. So in Dr. Widmer's class, I'm actually double booked for that class period, I guess you could say. So majority of the time I'm watching her lectures live, but on occasion, I do need to go in person to my other class. And so it's super nice. I can just go back and watch her lecture. And then I feel like I'm not behind at all. I'm still understanding the material and everything. And especially with Dr. Widmer and other professors I have who record their lectures, if I need to, I can just reach out with an email, set up a Zoom call or their answer, within the email and everything. So it's been super beneficial to have that aspect, kind of like I mentioned earlier. If I understand three-fourths of the lecture, but there's that quarter of it that I don't understand, I can go back and just watch that quarter to help me understand the material better. So then that way I can succeed even further as a student.
Are there other changes your instructors have made that make it easier to learn and interact? If so, are there any aspects that you would like to see continued or brought into the physical classroom?
So in one of my classes, we did iClicker questions in class. If you only got like a 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4, you could go back online after class and retake those quizzes as many times as necessary to make sure you fully understood the material. Because a lot of times those questions were based off of questions that were going to be on the exam. So it was super beneficial to have that learning aspect there to make sure I was understanding the material to succeed as a student.
What did you find valuable about online learning, if anything?
I think the most valuable thing about online learning is that we can do it from home. We can do it from wherever. So having this virtual format has really allowed students to, succeed at Purdue University from wherever they may be sitting. I know in one of my classes right now, there's a girl from Michigan that zooms in all of our classes instead of coming to campus and everything. And she is involved in the class. She interacts with the class. So, it's been an adjustment for the professor and for the class as well, but it's been really cool being able to have two different sides of the story, and making sure that everyone's having a lot of fun with it as well.
What challenges, if any, did you face in the online learning environment that you would prefer to avoid in the future if possible?
Definitely those asynchronous classes. Yeah, one of my classes right now, fully asynchronous, I can do it whenever I want, which is nice, but I don't have that personal connection to the professor. I don't have that personal connection to the homework, to the assignments. It's just harder to be engaged in that class. So I would much rather prefer to be, synchronous. I have to sit down at the computer and take notes during that time while the professor's lecturing to me online. So that way I can, send a question in the chat box or something like that. That is something that I would definitely, change for the future or something like that.
Any additional thoughts about online learning as we move forward?
Not that I can think of right now. I think for the most part, professors and students, struggled to adapt last year, quickly. But now we're getting into the groove of things, and students are able to take more classes. They're able to, take a different set of classes that they weren't, used to in the past. So it's been, I think, super beneficial for the professors and the students all around.